Radio station WIUS. Good morning, Glavin. Thanks very much for being with us.
Good morning, Chris. Nice to be here.
How would you describe the mood on campus?
I would describe it as sadness. It's very somber. There's a great sense of loss among a lot of the students and a lot of the fans of Indiana University basketball, because really I don't think a lot of them understand why Bob Knight was fired on Sunday.
Galen, do you think that there is the possibility for some sort of violence? There have been these protests which have caused a few problems, but more than that, there have been death threats against the student who first reported this, against his family members. How high are emotions running?
I will say emotions are running high, but I think that the threat of violence is very low. If you watch the student protests on Sunday, what you saw was a crowd that was not out to destroy things, was not out to wreak havoc. What you saw was a crowd that was protesting this decision that really supports Coach Knight and really, I think, ultimately would like him to return. I think the death threats, in certain situations like this where the emotions are as highly charged as they are, you're going to get certain things said that people don't mean. I think that's what I would classify those under.
Also with us this morning is sophomore Benji Eckhouse, who is a writer for the campus newspaper, the Indiana Daily Student. Good morning to you. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, glad to be here.
What's your reaction to the firing of Coach Knight?
Oh, well, I agree with the decision. I'm not sure if the means that they got to it were exactly as they had wanted or what should have been done, but I have always said that Bob Knight's attitude towards the community in general in society and all of his shenanigans, I mean, it's just not needed.
Do you understand, though, the strong support for him, not just for the fact that he's had a winning basketball program, but a winning academic one as well, graduating a very high percentage of his players?
Oh, yes, that's absolutely true, but just because you do good things doesn't allow you to do things that are bad. You have to be a good citizen and a good Samaritan as well. And I agree that he has done several good things, but that's just not enough. I think that he needs to display a good attitude and represent the university and the state of Indiana as well.
Galen, in that sense, did Coach Knight bring this on himself? It was a zero-tolerance policy. Even if the student said something to him he didn't like, should he have touched him? Should he have grabbed him?
Well, you mentioned the zero-tolerance policy. Whether Knight should have grabbed him or not, I think is kind of secondary to the point that Coach Knight, I don't think, had a chance under this zero-tolerance policy because it was never clearly defined. The president, in his statement of firing on Sunday, read off a laundry list of incidents that had occurred with Coach Knight, and basically these were all incidents that could have been brought up to him at the time, and from what we understand, were not.
Benji, do you think that there is the possibility for serious problems on campus as a result of this, or is this something that's going to blow over and not have a long-term impact, at least on the student body?
Well, if you're referring to violence or death threats to the student who Knight grabbed, I don't think there's anything to worry about. As Galen said, the protests were extremely peaceful, and the people weren't out to hurt anybody. But as far as a long-term effect, I think that everyone's interested in what will happen as far as the basketball team is concerned. We're not even sure if we're going to have a team this year. The student body is interested. They're very supportive of the basketball team. And from that standpoint, there will be effect. People are anxious to see what's going to happen.
Do you think, Galen, just by making these threats, by burning effigies, that some of these students are reflecting badly on Indiana University?
Well, I think that a lot of students feel that with the firing of Coach Knight, the administration reflected badly on Indiana University. So I think there's a little give and take there. What you had was a large number of people protesting the firing of Coach Knight. You had some people who went a bit overboard, and that's going to happen in any situation where there are large crowds.
Galen Clavio and Benji Eckhouse, thanks for giving us your perspective. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Hail.